Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 2 of Sentinels from the Ashes, written by Alex Pagnadell and art by Justin Mason. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. Now this issue opens up years ago during the Onslaught battle against the Avengers, and during that war, we see Vision attempting to help a young Patricia escape from a collapsing building. But no matter how much Vision tried to take the woman by her hand, she just refused and said that she wasn't going to leave her mother. Now with the situation getting worse, Vision then went on to say the building we are currently in is moments away from falling down and killing her within alongside her already dead mother's body. Now the reason why her mother died was because Onslaught's electromagnetic pulse short-circuited the PN junction array in the mother's pacemaker. With that explained, Patricia then went on to ask why he seemed so calm, to which Vision states that he is a synthezoid and he doesn't possess an internal sensory network broadly analogous to a human nervous system, and because of that he doesn't possess a fear response. Now this revelation was something that Patricia envied, for she would do anything to have no emotions at that moment. Now with Patricia's backstory explained just a little, we then fast forward to current day with the Sentinel team flying to their latest operation. And as they traveled, Sawtooth and Voivod was messing with Patricia due to how much mood regulators she took prior to this mission. Because apparently she took a double dose. Now just to give you a context of how much that is, it was enough mood regulators to stun a rhino. So with Patricia aka Drumfire as passive could be, their commander, Lockstep, entered the hangar with a collar in his hand. So with all eyes on him, Lockstep went on to say if they read the files on the target, then they will know a frontal assault will not work on this op. So they are issued these collars to neutralize his mutation. And all they have to do is get said collar on his neck by whatever means necessary and things would be golden. Now as for where the target is located, that would be in Begales, a country run by bad guys for bad guys. Now that means their target must have done something messed up to wind up in its only prison. This prison is a standard Rage and Roid-fueled Supermax, except all the guards were Hydra and it's 300 meters underground. Now this means once they are in, Graymalkin wouldn't be able to see or hear them. And on top of that, they don't even know the target exact location either, so they will have to go in quiet and split up to cover more ground. So with everything broken down, Voivod asked why the heck are they moving him from one prison to another, to which Lockstep replied by saying, because he runs this joint. Following that we fast forward a bit just to see the Black King, Sebastian Shaw beating the crap out of Voivod. And as Shaw held him by his neck, he went on to tell the Sentinel that he is tragic and soon to be a screaming half-wit because he tried to overpower a living supercapacitor with a really big gun. And then Shaw went on to observe the Sentinel nanotech and noticed how it wasn't Bastion exotic. And then out of nowhere a wave of nanotech smashed Shaw in the face as he asked if they had any idea what they have put inside of their wounds. So as Lockstep manipulated his armor remotely to try and help Voivod, he in return left himself exposed and open for a potential attack. So as he called for reinforcements, Sawtooth was still held down as she was also overwhelmed. So with Sawtooth also held down, it was now up to Drumfire to provide support. With Drumfire on her way, we then see Shaw ripping the nanotech from his face as he continued to say he knew they would send someone eventually, but Sentinels. That is exquisitely perverse. And at that moment, he slammed the nanotech into Voivod's mouth and stated, it's good that he is afraid because like most hedonists, he feels almost nothing. Which is one of the reasons why he traveled to Bagalia after Orcus, because Shaw was in search for a form of sensation. But instead, he ended up finding a cage. There's something this island of cultures and con men failed to appreciate about Sebastian Shaw, and that is he has a habit of turning every cage into a castle. But see, just how Shaw could make a castle, Voivod had a habit of turning a castle into rubble. And like last issue, Voivod blew himself up. So with Voivod out of commission, Sawtooth rushed her way to her comrade's side by bulldozing through 2 brick walls, and when she got there, all she saw was Shaw still standing victorious as her friend lay defeated. And right when Shaw was about to lay down his final blow, Sawtooth blindsided him, saving her ally. So with that opening, Lockstep recalled his armor, reformed it onto himself, and delivered a thunderous backhand to one of the many who swarmed him. While that battle continued, Drumfire still navigated through the prison, and unlucky for her, as she traveled she stopped dead in her tracks and started to speak out loud, saying they told her she'll stop seeing him if she took enough of their chemicals. But regardless, before Drumfire was still the person she feared the most, Onslaught. So as panic started to set in, Drumfire yelled about how he killed her mother and opened fire. And when the smoke cleared before her sat a butcher Hydra member. Following that, we fast forward a bit to Sawtooth covering Voivod's body with her massive armor as Shaw claws away at its backside. While he is doing that, he states that they will not be taking him to another cage because he has heard the rumors about what they have been doing to Charles's school, and he has no desire to see it for himself. Now while that was going on, Sawtooth asked if Voivod was okay, to which Voivod replied by saying he exploded himself again. And with a small smile, Sawtooth told him that was dumb and he should really stop doing that. And after a brief pause, Voivod stated that Shaw was really taking her armor apart right now as she shielded him. But that was of no concern to Sawtooth because her goal was to save her teammate at all costs. And with finality in Voivod's voice, he finally said if he didn't know better he would say she didn't want to see him bludgeoned to death. And right when things were at their darkest, two small hands touched both sides of Shaw's face as a voice said, "Sorry, I'm late." And in a moment all of Shaw's surplus kinetic energy was stripped from his body as he screamed in pain. And right before Drumfire sucked all the energy from Shaw's dying heart, Lockstep ordered her to stop, because they needed the prisoner alive, not dead. And at that moment, a massive Sentinel appeared overhead and crashed through the roof and was ready to take them home with prize in hand. Now following this mission success, we pick up some time later at a diner in Westchester, New York with Lockstep and Kevin having a conversation over a meal. And during their meal, Lockstep tells Kevin to stop staring at their mutant waitress because she had a hard enough life as is, than to have to deal with a person staring at her. But that was when Kevin corrected him and said he wasn't staring in disgust, but rather he was staring at her because he thought she looked cool. And the Kevin went on to say, "Besides, ain't he like a mutant hunting super cop or something?" Now this caused Lockstep to reply by saying no, he is not a mutant hunting super cop because their boss is a mutant. Now this made Kevin laugh and jokingly said there's no way his father could be a bad guy if he worked for a mutant. With that out there, Lockstep then went on to say listen to him, a little while ago, 250,000 mutants established their own superpower overnight, then told the rest of the world to go fuck itself. And if you asked Lockstep, they had every right to do so, but it put a lot of noses out of joint all the same. Now they are back, and some of them are jaded, angry, and hopeless. And if there's one thing he learned, it's that people without hope are very, very dangerous. Now to that, Kevin just replied by saying, has he tried giving them hope instead of cracking their skulls? Now this was something Lockstep didn't see coming as he choked on his food and quickly changed the subject and told his son he appreciated him coming out to see him. And then he went on to say I know it's not easy with him and his mother being apart. To which, Kevin replied by saying his mother cried when he got out of the hospital and she didn't want him to tell him that, but they needed help. Which was one of the reasons why he agreed to meet with him. Because after recently his grandpa was gonna lose his house, so his mother, Lockstep's former wife, borrowed some money from these guys, the kind of guys you don't borrow money from. Now with this new issue on the horizon, we then jump back over to the Graymalkin Prison with Shaw bound in chains as Trask stood mere feet away from the Black King. So with this victory in hand, Trask made sure he informed the warden personally of his most recent success. A success that ate away at his partner. In fact, it was so bad that on the next panel, we saw the warden working away on her own Sentinel program. But see, her black box Sentinel program was unfortunately nowhere near Trask's program. Because while he had fully functional Sentinel warriors, she was still trying to insert hardware onto wild animals. Animals whose bodies were rejected completely, for the wolf's heart rate had increased to 220 BPM. Its blood pressure spiked to 185/115 and continued to rise, and to make things worse, the subject appeared to attack its own implants until it eventually succumbed to cardiac arrest. And with that said, this issue came to an end, with the warden's latest experiment killing itself from within. Now down in the comment section below let me know your thoughts about this issue and what predictions you could have moving forward. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.